Good afternoon, everyone. It's Moose here from Moose Marine, back again to do another little video whilst we're in lockdown, whilst we're in COVID, on some advanced, well, basically a full run through of the Garmin mapping system on the GPSMAP series. Get myself correct there. Okay, so our patient for today is a 8416 unit, but this data and this information I'm going to talk to you about is relevant all the way down to pretty much any of the black for rim GPSMAP series and a lot of the EchoMap and EchoMap Ultra series. But let's begin. So first things first, housekeeping. If you have any questions, feel free to put them below. I wonder if I can actually see the messages pop up. Hopefully I can. We'll see. We'll try. Anyway, the map that I'm running today is this guy. It's a Garmin Blue Chart G3 Vision card. This is the Port Stephens to Fowler's Bay one. This is their latest sort of flagship map card. You can see there with Navionics data now being built in. So from our chart screen, it brings up all my charting options, and of course some of these aren't available to all places in without certain accessories, unfortunately, such as the Sirius XM stuff, which is this SXM stuff. So fishing map, precipitation, forecast, sea temperatures, sea conditions, all won't be available. Radar overlay, obviously you need a radar for. Cool. So we're going to start off with Nav Chart. So we're down here in Port Phillip Heads, and I've set the map to show me the most amount of detail. And with that, I get my land satellite imaging and the most amount of spot soundings, nav aids, channel markers, etc. Let's pinch the zoom. Oh, you can see down the bottom my scale, 800 meters. Zoom all the way in. Where's the boat gone? Stop panning, the locks. There it is. Cool. So here's our little boat, and we can see around us all our contour lines to give us an idea of depth. The numbers are indicating what depth it is in that particular spot or within that particular contour. Take with a grain of salt, because of course these are never going to be 100% accurate. So first things first, talk about navigating. So navigating is pretty simple in these systems. You just touch where you want to go. Up the top you've got a few different options. You can see there. You can first click review, which will tell you any of the information about that particular area. So it's firstly told me that the anchoring is prohibited in this area, and then there's an unclassified restricted area, because that's the channel there. So if I click on that, it'll tell me more information. It tells me the Port of Melbourne Security Port Limit Area. Sorry for the focusing. And what was the other one? Anchoring prohibited, just says I can't do that. So that's pretty cool. So if you see something on the map you're not too sure about, you can touch on the map and review it and find out more information. Occasionally you'll see these little eyes. If you touch on that, it says point info. If I go review, point info, it tells me a bit more about that particular area. So in this case you can see it's a historic wreck. The site of historic wreck is protected from unauthorized interference, blah blah blah. So that's pretty cool. So if you're not sure on something, a lot of the information for what is legal and not legal in that area, or rules, are actually on the map itself. If I touch one of the channel markers, it says it's the number 2 beacon, it's a flashing light, FL for flashing, that it flashes red every 3 seconds. So back to where I was. If I want to go from point A to point B, I'm here. Press stop planning to lock the boat on. Touch where I want to go. If I press go to, it will ask me if I want to engage the autopilot. If I have one, if I don't, turn it off. And you'll see it do a straight line. Up the top, it will tell you the distance to destination, my estimated time of arrival, as we are not moving at the moment. It's just got dash dash, how far off course we are, and the bearing to that particular waypoint. If I don't want to go there anymore, I can press the little stop navigation button up here, and it stops the navigation. Now, those with a keen eye, and probably heard me say this before, but you can see if I'm here and I want to go across here to Quarantine Bay, if I press go to, it's taking me across land, which is relatively difficult because we haven't got a hovercraft. So with the G3 vision maps and pretty much most Garmin's now, you have auto guidance. If you hit auto guidance, it will give you a bit of a rundown review on what it's going to be doing. It says there's a couple of hazards, so I can review those hazards. Number one, it says there's a special buoy I've got to keep aware of and keep on the correct side. I can adjust my path if needs be. Otherwise, I can just press start navigation, and the auto guidance will now take me around objects, maintaining me in a depth that I set for my boat on the correct side of navigational beacons, and then the quickest possible route there. And that's how most people will navigate when they have one of these G3 vision map cards, is that they just hit auto guidance. You can do route too if you want to actually make your own route as well. But if I don't want to do that anymore, just hit the little thingo. Do I want to save it? No. Okay, pretty straightforward. So now I'm going to get into some more of the advanced stuff. If I press menu, you can see we've got our navigational chart menu, and the first one is layers. We'll hit layers, and the first one at the top is chart. So now I can see all my chart layering options. The first one's satellite photos. I can just turn them on and off. And when they have this little arrow button, means there's more options. So I can hit that, and I can select land only, or I can have it on both land and sea, which is what it is at the moment. And there is an opaque scale. So now I can adjust that opaque scale and move it up. And you can see it just basically covers everything, including the water. So if you really want, you can have it just as satellite imaging for over the water. I don't know why you would, but you can. The reason why they give you land only is because it's a lot more practical having your spot sounding maps as opposed to mosaic. Tides and currents, I can turn them on and off. Oops, turn it back on. Yeah. And go across, and I can do my animated tide charts. See if I can see any around here. Should be able to see one. This is the entrance. Oh, there they are. So you can see here's my little tide bar here. If I touch it, it will tell me what the tide is. It's 0.7 meter tide, and it's an incoming tide. You see the little arrow pointing up for incoming. So I can have those, and they'll be placed at wherever there's a tide station nearby. Land points of interest. Yeah, suppose if you want to know where the airport is or something. There's one over here. Point info. Yeah, you know, airports, that sort of stuff. What else we got? Photo points. Seeing if any of them appear. We don't have a lot of photo points in Australia. Photo points are where there is a aircraft photo of a particular area. It might be of a marina entrance, or a particular difficult harbour, but I can't see any coming on and off when I touch that, so there's none around. Service points, same sort of thing, just where you can have marinas, fuel stops, that sort of stuff. Under nav aids, which are all these channel markers and such, we can turn them on and off. I can have the IRLA ones, or I can have NOAA ones. Most people are going to run with NOAA. I can have the flashing lights animated, so you can see now that the flashing light channel markers flash in the correct sequences. I can turn the light sectors on as well, so I can see here, for example, if I zoom on in, the sector of that light. I can see from here to here it's red, and from here to here it's yellow, and then green in that particular area. So if I'm navigating a large ship and I can see a light rotating and flashing from those light sectors, I can use that to help determine my position, mostly for big boats. Can't remember what ailerons is. Oh, there's your tides and currents here, by the way. Menu. Okay, so that was layers and that was charts. Let's go to my vessel. So here's our little boat here. Down the bottom I'll show you first. We can change the icon size. Medium, small, or triangles for whatever reason. We're a big boat, so we're going to go large. We can have a heading line, and we can set that heading line based on a whole bunch of different parameters. We can have it based on distance or time, so how far away we will be in 3 minutes. At the moment we're not moving, so in 3 minutes we're still in the same spot. We're going to have a distance, and we're going to have it set for 500 meters. Ooh, that's too far. We're going to set our line for 500 meters. And you can now see that little black line coming out the front of the boat based in 500 meters. Which is pretty cool. And you can see the angle markers just appearing around the outside of the boat too. I'm going to leave that there, that's pretty cool. Windrows, so if you're, particularly if you're a sailing vessel and you've got wind instruments, this will show you your angle of attack. I think that's what that means, yachty terms, and then T for true wind angle, I think. So the direction of the wind. And the source, which is where, oh there it goes, true and apparent wind, that's it. Compass rose, obviously just the 360-degree compass around the boat. So they're all pretty handy too. So if you want to know quickly what's 90 degrees from you, you can have a look up there, or at 90 degree. Yeah, at 90 sort of thing. Anyway, back to what I was getting on about. User data, so you can have your waypoints, boundaries displayed, or your tracks. You can have the ones that you're actually using at the moment, or your historic ones. Turn them all off. Other vessels, so any DSC alerted vessels, so if someone's got a DSC alarm going off, be it from a man overboard device or another boat, you can see that on the screen. AIS, so all other vessels, especially commercial vessels with transponders, you can see them on the screen. When you have a target selected, you can have projected headings and any collision alarms, so you can set it so if a vessel is on a particular collision course with you based on a MAPA target, which is from radar, or from AIS, from the AIS transponders, you can have it displayed, and then the vessel details. Cool. Water, this is where it gets a little bit more funky, so pay attention. Sorry, telephone call, I'll call you back in a second. Depth shading. So depth shading allows me to put a color in a particular depth range. So you can see here its default sets for 0.0 to 1.5 is going to be this color, from that to that to that. Of course, all out here is particularly deeper than those areas. I'll show you that later in the next one. Shadow shading. We can put that on manual mode and change that depth to say I want just 0.8 meters shaded. So now I know everywhere from 8 meters and less. Turn that off. Spot depths, I can have them on dangerous, and I can say my warning depth is 0.8 meters. I'm a big boat. Now I know all these ones that are red are going to be the ones that I consider dangerous. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense. Quick Draw. So Quick Draw is Garmin's do-it-yourself mapping system. The units actually come with a blank SD card as part of the package, and you can use that for your Quick Draw mapping. With Quick Draw I can turn it on and off, and then I can go into my settings and change them up a little bit. So as I'm driving along, I could be saving my Quick Draw. So user contours I can turn on and off. Community, the ones that I might have downloaded from the Quick Draw community website, and surveying colors are ones that are done commercially. Weather, if we have weather, it will overlay it at the top here. You can see rain, a mixture of both, and snow. Well, we don't have those in Australia, unfortunately. And radar, which is obviously a simulator, so it's not going to show you accurately, but that will overlay your radar over the top of your map. Menu, quick draw contours. This is the full menu for quick draw. So display is showing you any of the quick draws that I want to display on the screen. I can select which ones I want. We saw that before. Start recording, stop recording, manage any of the ones that I've saved. Under settings, I can do an offset if it's a lake and there's a different levels going up and down. And then community offset, so all the ones that I've downloaded. That's pretty handy if you're fishing like Lake Eildon, Lake Parrambeet, Bullamero. Well, actually, Bullamero and Parrambeet don't change, but you know what I mean. Menu, settings. Under settings, we have sort of major ones like orientation. So drawing it north up, heading up, or course up. Detail, I can have most amount of detail all the way down to least amount of detail, so you can see it's now a lot more craggy. Chart size, you can have largest chart, so you can see it's zoomed in, everything's quite big and chunky. All the way down to smallest. World map, which is a little map that appears in the... Oh, that's the full world map, sorry. Insert map down the bottom here. I can have it on auto, so if I move away from the boat, I can still see in this little map down here what's going on around me. And it disappears when I lock back on the boat, or I could have the insert map on all the time, no matter where I was, which could get kind of annoying. Settings, so I'm going to just turn it off. Cool, stop panning always locks the boat in the center. And I'm just going to go home now and I'll show you fishing charts. So you can see there's the coverage area. Fishing charts are where things start to get a little bit more real. So it's when the navionics data really kicks in. So you can see down here at Port Phillip Heads just how much more detail you get. Obviously the closer those lines are together, the steeper those contours are. So it's pretty crazy. And you can see there's some of that relief shading. If I press menu, go to layers, water, depth shading, select. I can now select those depth shadings, and I can say I only want to fish in areas that are 56 meters and deeper. So I can go new depth range. The color is this pink, and I'm going to make the minimum depth 00500, done. Maximum depth 9999, done. And now it's selected all those areas that are deeper than 50 meters, which you can see is these holes here. So that's a good way to determine if you want to fish in those real deep waters where 50 meters is deeper. It's here. And of course, if you zoom all the way out, obviously everything offshore is going to be more than 50 meters, but you can see that's where the 50 meter boundary comes in. And I can just turn that shading off to go back to normal as well. Back, turn off depth shadings, and back to normal. Everything else is pretty much the same. 3D charts. You can see as if we put the boat on top of a really, really cool tabletop. I can see, and it's a bit hard to determine this, but the screen resolution and sharpness of it's so crisp and it moves so smoothly. So this has taken like 2D map and pressed it out into its proper depths. If I press menu, layers, sorry, not layers, menu, settings, style, I can go back to classic style, which some people prefer, which you can see gives you a good indication of where everything is. There's the holes. Point Lonsdale, sorry, that's Sorrento. And I can zoom on out. Pretty cool. And of course, if I actually go back to my nav chart and select an area, like select over here, auto guidance, start navigation, don't worry about autopilot, and go back to my 3D chart. You can see I can just follow that line now back to my destination. If I zoom in, follow the yellow brick road, and you'll get home safely based on the parameters that you set for your boat. You can see there's those lights flashing with the correct sequences in the background. And then there's Fisheye 3D, which is the same thing but beneath the boat. So now I can see how much of my sonar cone is covering, what sort of area, and whether there's any fish targets in it. So if I actually go back, I'm just going to go to my simulator and make the boat go 0.5 kilometers an hour. Back to this, go menu, turn my fish symbols on. As the boat's moving, you can see we're leaving these little fish symbols behind us. It doesn't replace your sonar. Sonar's still going to be a lot more accurate than this, but it's a good indicator. If you want to fish into a hole, you can see if you've gone over any schools of kingfish pretty easily. The color represents the signal strength, obviously, and then the number is the depth. Pretty cool. Rightio, so I'll probably end this one. Thanks for watching, guys. That's just mapping stuff on the Garmin GPSMAP series. This is an 8416. If you've got any questions, you can hit us up a message in Facebook. You can email us at info@moosemarine.com.au. You can also call us. Unfortunately, with COVID, it's a bit tricky for you to come see us in person, but if you have any particular questions, we're happy to do a little video conference call. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you later.